Now, I often get questions about the career as owner-operator. People write, email, leave messages in my inbox on my YouTube channel. Now, this guy wrote me a message, and it's called a few questions. Now, when I printed out his questions, it was a full sheet. So I'm looking at becoming an owner-operator. I'm looking to become an owner-operator, and I'm hoping you have time to answer a few questions. Can you recommend a truck brand to buy? I'm considering a Volvo 670 or 780 with a Cummins engine. Is it better to buy new or used? If used, what price range and mileage should I look for? Can I make at least 60K plus before taxes as an owner-op? How many miles would I have to do to make this or more? Is it easy or hard to find loads with your company to get miles? I see you run flatbed trailers. Does that limit your loads and how much you can drive when compared to drive-in? Would you recommend one trailer type over another for making more money? I don't mind working harder. I just need to make more money than being a company driver. I know your truck is different than something I would get, but from my calculations it takes $1.15 per mile to break even when a person still has truck payments, insurance, fuel permits. Are my calculations close? He says that the reason he's talking about money is because he needs to pay very big college loans, basically 60K. I thought my situation was bad. Here's the guy, evidently a younger guy, and he has 60,000 in college loans. Well, at least I think there's you don't have to pay the principal, right? You pay like the interest only for a while. And so he plans to start as company driver. So he went to the university or school, got the education, but the education was so expensive that now he has to become a trucker to pay off the loan. I don't know. And then he wants to become an owner-operator. Now, first of all, I wanted to say about the money. Let's say as a company driver, you make 42 cents per mile, right? If you do 10,000 miles, if you're willing to work hard, that's $4,200. Like, that's your before taxes, right? So let's establish that as a baseline, because if you want to own your truck, you have more expenses. So at least we want to make the same amount of money as a company driver, right? So let's say you buy a cheap truck, 700,000 miles, just like mine. Hey, you can buy mine, but you want a Volvo. So $1,000 a month, right? Then you need to set some provisions for repairs, because trucks break. There's always something coming up. Can be $2,000, can be $10, but rarely it's cheaper than $500. So let's say $500. So $1,000 is truck payment, $500 is repairs. Now fuel, if you do 10,000 miles as an owner-operator, you might go broke. That's why I never do so many miles in my truck, because I'm paid percentage. Because if you divide 10,000 by, let's say, 6 miles per gallon times 4, that's a lot of money, But let's say that's $6,500 you spend on fuel, right? So now we have a truck payment, we have repairs, we have fuel, and then another $1,000, licensing, insurance, registration. Like, I pay for insurance about $700, and then there's licensing about $150. Then there's that portion of the truck payment. I mean, like annual license fee. Then there's this heavy-duty tax. So $1,000 is fair. So 1,000 and 1,000 is 2, and 65 plus 500 is 7. That's 9, right? So 9 plus 4,200, that's 13,200, right? If you do 10,000 miles, so that's $1.32. So if you do 10,000 miles and you make $13,200, you're only making as much money as a regular company driver. So there's no point in, you know, keeping your truck, you know, having headaches of maintaining the equipment. You know, there's much more responsibility. So you should at least, I don't know, maybe not double, but at least make, I don't know, maybe $3,000 more, you know. Then you can use that money towards your debt, let's say, because then, let's say you use the entire $3,000, that's 36,000 a year, right? So that would be something that would work for you. But then, so now you need to make 16,200, you know, or $1.62 per mile gross, right? So let's say you live on that 42 cents or 4,200 just as an employee, and then the rest is for insurance, truck, fuel, and towards your debt. So it's $1.62. So I don't think you can make, you know, you can survive with this scenario if you only make like $1.17. So if you really want to pay off your debt and you need to make a steady paycheck, I would suggest you look into some kind of specialized trucking, you know, where you can make this kind of money, because it's not easy just with a single truck, not trailer, to make this kind of money, you know. Speaking about trucks, I like Volvo. You know, if I was a company driver, I would probably drive a Volvo, but as an owner operator, I don't think it's a good truck. It's kind of like, you know, it's comfortable and everything, but it's expensive to repair. I only drove a used one when I just started, but a friend of mine has a Volvo that he drove for like 5 years, and now he says he would never buy a Volvo again. He said if he ever buy a new truck, it'll be a Freightliner, because, you know, it doesn't matter how they look. This is a tool to make money, you know, and that it's always cheaper to service your tool or truck, you know, when there's a lot of dealerships around. And it's either Freightliner or International, but Freightliner, I have an International, but Freightliner I would say would be just that, okay, it doesn't look as cool as, let's say, Kenworth or Peterbilt or something, but, you know, you always can find a dealer. You can go to any truck stop, they will have your parts. You know, parts are cheaper. Like at Landstar, we even get discount on parts. Like if I had a Freightliner, I would be getting discounts not just on you know, the rate. Let's say when I go do an oil change, they have a special rate for Landstar drivers. But if my truck was a Freightliner, I would even get a slight discount on parts that they use, you know. So I don't know. Me personally, I like you know, many trucks like Western Star, this new Pro Star International, you know. But the reality is that I think you should look at the how expensive it is to maintain the truck, right? So Cummins engine, just if you want to buy a Volvo, just make sure you don't buy anything, I think, after what, like 2009, 2010, 2011. Those are like 3 years. I think you'll be in very bad shape with that truck. But again, I would stay away from Volvo. And I don't know, but in my experience, it's always best to have the truck and the engine from the same manufacturer. You know, then you don't have to run between two shops, one that services your truck, one that services your engine. Like in my case, I have a Cat, and then I have the International, right? So they always send me to each other. You know, oh no, that's for the International when I go to a Cat, or I go to the International, and they say, oh no, that engine. You know, that's part of the engine. You gotta go to the Cat. So, like Volvo, you know, Volvo with a Volvo engine would make more sense to me than Volvo with a Cummins engine. I don't know. The same as a Freightliner with a Detroit engine, which is pretty much Freightliner engine, right? So it's easier to service. Now price range, I think if you're starting, I would just look at the monthly payment. You know, don't get anything over like $1,000 a month. So that would be a very cheap truck, maybe like $15,000-$20,000. And also it's very difficult to get your first truck, even cheap one, because a lot of financial companies, they don't like lending money to buy trucks because they, quickly depreciate. But the best place to find money would be at the bank, not at the dealer. I made a mistake of getting money from the dealer. The interest was high, so I would look into just find the bank that lends money for this kind of equipment. And also sometimes the government has programs for small business, and they can lend money at a very cheap rate, so that would be a good place to look for money. Now he says, can I make at least 60K plus before taxes as an owner-op, so which is like 5,000 a month, right? Well, if you, as a company driver, you can make $4,200, right? So I think as an owner-operator, you should make at least, like I said, at least 3,000 more, Otherwise, there's no point. So yeah, you can make it, but I would say it's best to not just do like generic drive and freight, because that's money is not there. Like if you just buy your truck to pull a van, I don't think so. I don't think you can make a lot of money. So I tried that. And then I moved into the specialized trailers. Like this guy that drives a Volvo, he has a wife, he has a kid. The wife does not work, and the kid, he has a beautiful daughter. And I said, well, what does she want to do? He said she wants to be a doctor. And I said, maybe she should be a model. Oh no, she doesn't want to be a model. But anyways, with this guy, he's the only source of income in this family, and they just like 3 years ago they bought a huge house, brand new, and he was driving a bad car, like all rusty. So evidently all his money was going towards the truck, and he's always, towards the house, sorry, and he's always on the road. He's like spending maybe 5-6 days a month at home, and he drives a Volvo with the Cummins, but his truck is like 2007, before all the emissions. And that's why I say, because I talked to him, he says never buy anything after 2008, and before, I think 2012 is okay, but not even 2011 was bad. 2010, 2009, I think there was this period between 2008 and 2012 where that emission equipment was not reliable and trucks were breaking down. So why I'm mentioning this is because this guy we worked for the same company, just pulling vans, and then we left. I started with Landstar pulling a step deck and then a flatbed, and now I'm switching to a step deck. And this guy, he works for Quality Carriers, tanker company. So he pulls a tanker. So he only owns the truck. I think he gets like 64% of the gross, and he's always on the road. But that's how I would say, if you want to make money, you have to look into some specialized trailers, like maybe even like a reefer, a reefer or tanker or step deck, or if you can get, but you need experience for that. I would say double drop trailer. That's where the most money is, but it's not that easy to get into that. You need some flatbed experience at first, But tankers, I know they train you. Personally, me, I would never go there because it's chemical stuff, it can be dangerous. You have to wear all that protection equipment, because it's not oil or gas or diesel fluid that he's moving all these kinds of, industrial, it looks like sand, various chemicals. And they can be really, really dangerous, but that's where they pay him pretty good money. So, and definitely, so that's what I like. This guy is asking me about the trailer type. Of course, trailers make a big difference. Like some old timers say that you make money with a trailer, not with a truck. And so running miles does not make you money. If you just run $1 per mile, I don't know. It's better to do, because diesel is so expensive now, it's better to do 5,000 miles, but haul loads that pay $4 per mile, than hauling cheap loads. So I don't know, but that's what I think. This is just my personal opinion, but it wouldn't be easy to consistently make enough money to pay so much debt, but I think it's doable. All you need is you know, focus and just get into some specialized field, you know, heck, maybe even some go for a couple of years working in the oil fields somewhere, you know, like in Alberta in Canada or North Dakota in the States. I think they always look for people, you know. You can start at the bottom and then work your way up as driver, you know, and that would be something to look into. Okay, so that's just one of the letters I received today, and hopefully my answers will be of use to the gentleman that sent me this letter. Thanks for watching. Take care.